Well, for most of May, we were talking about how dry it's been, but things changed very quickly yesterday, where the southern Midlands, where we saw virtually no rain all month long, picked up a month's worth of rain. A lot of places recording over 2 inches of rain just in 24 hours. This is your Monday afternoon into your overnight hours, and we have got more rain to come. This is the pattern. We've got a traffic jam in the atmosphere. Look at all of the moisture pushing through Virginia, North Carolina this morning into West Virginia and the Great Lakes. This area of low pressure is going to be very stubborn to move, and you can see Arthur, which is quickly moving out to sea and had no direct impacts in South Carolina, is having some indirect impacts even as it leaves, because in its wake we're continuing to see tropical moisture. So Arthur kind of opened up the gateway to the tropics, and now this area of low pressure in the upper atmosphere is using that moisture and bringing it into a good part of the eastern half of the country. And because this area of low pressure is a cutoff low, which means that it's been abandoned by the jet stream, there's no movement with it, it's going to be doing so over the next day or two. So we're not going to be seeing any movement in this pattern, which means that we have the potential for some flooding. This is a look at the risk. You can see the greatest risk is in eastern North Carolina and in the upstate today, but everybody in the Midlands is under a risk for flooding today and tomorrow. In fact, that risk area actually grows tomorrow, and the greatest risk is going to be farther up to the north, because that's where the moisture source is at its biggest. We have the most humidity, the most mugginess to the air the farther north you go. But any storms that develop could really bring some soaking rain across the area. So we're going to have to watch pretty carefully to see where they do develop over the course of the next 2 days. At noontime today, we do have those showers starting to build, and some thunderstorms are possible too. Not expecting a whole lot of sun today. There will be some spots and some lucky breaks, but where the storms develop, there could be rounds of them even as we head into the overnight hours. And Wednesday, we do it all over again. We're expecting a really wet pattern, and temperatures are going to be cooler on Wednesday because the clouds are more persistent. Rainfall totals maybe half of an inch to an inch or so. Don't pay too much attention to the location, because it's going to be very dependent on where these storms set up today and tomorrow. Now, the better chance is going to be farther to the north, but there could be anywhere in the Midlands an additional 2 to 4 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts possible. And as we get into the weekend, we're in for a treat because things dry out beautifully.